Hey, welcome back. I'm referring to the wheel arch. It looks a lot better when it's closer in, so you haven't got all this real estate sitting on the outside edge. It doesn't look very good. But now I'm going back to the old days of yesterday, like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when I did actually own Mark 1 Transits. Lovely vans they are. And I remember the double wheelbase, a long wheelbase, which had double wheels each side, double axle, had metal flaring the arch out here. That's the problem, you see. There's too much real estate around the wheel arch and around that metal work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a 4-inch wide plate, and I'm going to weld two on, one on the inside, one on the outside, all the way around, and then I'll make up some little plates that can go on here and curve that way. And I think we'll run some tin all the way along, and we'll build up that area so there's more of it, so it's a bit chunkier, and then you will get the vision of this. Okay, Tuesday, I've just been down IS&G. I can't believe the price of that stuff. 2 lengths, 4 meters, 100 quid. For that, I mean, 100 quid, well, 90 to be exact, but crying out loud, wow. I was a little shocked. They didn't have any cold rolled, so I had to get that, and that is quite hard. So it is slightly different to the regular stuff, which I would imagine that is the reason why it is a little bit more than normal, but all the same, 100 quid. Anyway, I've made a start on the inner and outer. We've got the first few pieces in there, but I've got stuck because the angles are different inside. I've cut the mudguard in half. That's going to get laid on top. Possibly. I might go under, I don't know yet. We'll see how it all pans out. I'm not sure at the moment. This one, the mudguard over there that I cut, will go underneath it. I'm going to drill holes. I'm going to run some bolts through. I'll drill into the fiberglass. I'll weld the bolts up, so when we're ready to put that on, we can literally just shove it in there, wind the nuts up with some big wide washers, and that should be enough to hold that in. We may or may not paint and seal, I don't know yet, because that mudguard, it isn't the squarest. So when that sits underneath, because it was never meant to be like that, it was meant to sit on top originally, but because I want to do that shape in here all the way around to muscle up everything, that's what I need to do. But it's not only that, you see, it will strengthen that up massively as well. So if I do side impact something, I've got all of that metal there. Hopefully it shouldn't do too much damage. This is annoying. The first time I actually get some welding remotely nice, I've got to go and cover it up later anyway. There's the first one. That's the outer welded, and that is the inner badly welded. Like a big old string of pigeon poop, but it will work. It's strong enough. What we'll do with that is we'll tomorrow, not today but tomorrow, we'll flat the sand that edge down all the way around. This will then sit on top with a few nuts and bolts like so, and then we've got the cutout for that to go in there. So we'll weld the cutout in once we've bolted this down temporary. We'll put the cutout through the bead roller for 3 angles to stiffen it up, and then we'll weld it in. Once we've got that welded in, we'll then make some angles across here with some angle iron, and then we'll do the fill-ins for this bit. Also have a bash at, gotta find it, that panel there, that one. That panel there's got to be blanked off, and the sheet of metal where that speaker sits, it's got to have some angle put on it. I haven't already deleted it out. That metal didn't come at 90 quid. I got me mess all muddled up. Nothing new there with me. £72, but it was still pretty damned expensive. for those two lengths, which are about 4 meters long, 5 meters, something like that. Oh, I can't remember how long they are. I had to cut them down. I know that they wouldn't fit. Anyway, I've already cut the metal for that plate over there. Just waiting for a drill to charge up, and then I can drill a hole. So we're going to mount the mudguard in place. The weather is, it's usable, it's workable, but it is raining. 50 miles from here, I believe they're getting snow, but I don't feel cold enough. But is there such a thing as, is it cold enough for snow? I don't know. So we'll see where we end up. If we can just stop drizzle for half an hour, I can weld that plate in, and then as the day draws to a close, we're not there yet, but the day's getting there. We are slowly working our way through this. Now I've drawn a line down there. I've got to cut that mudguard accordingly. The same up the other side. Piece of wide angle going in here, then I can plate that whole area off. I've got that plate to do underneath first, and then I can angle that, and then, I mean, the angle might go straight over of where the floor plate was going to go if I use the right size angle, so we could actually get away with not doing anything. The inner panel is here. I've bead rolled some lines in all the way around the outside edge for rigidity. I've also made a few extra cuts here because we've got that post sticking out, and we've got that weld sticking out there, and the only reason I haven't got rid of the weld is I don't want to make too much noise at this point in time. The plan will be, once I've offered this in and I've welded along that line, is we'll tap these down with a hammer, and then we'll weld them around those blistery welds. I'm having to keep the noise down a bit because I don't want to upset Petal next door. So there you go. It stopped snowing about an hour ago. I managed to get a little bit done, even though I did cover the welder up because of some extra snow, but hey ho. The welding's absolutely terrible, as you can expect with me, but it's strong and it is holding. When I'm ready to put the big floor in, the checker plate, we'll get in that gap. We'll just do a little tidy up before we fit all of that. So tomorrow, regardless, I mean, if it's downpour, I'm not going to do nothing, but if it isn't a downpour, then we'll get that piece of angle cut for in there, piece of angle cut for down there. We've got one more metal plate to make here, going down. We've capped off, as we said we were going to do. I just did it for neatness, really, that cap, but I didn't want any aggravation either, just in case I got told that it needed to be welded up. I'm not saying don't this week turning out a rubbish week. I think it has actually. No, it's still raining. You can see the spots in the puddles. Well, what we can do is we can cut out the two pieces of floor tin and put them through the bead roller. We can definitely do that. We can also definitely cut out the angle iron ready, and then we'll wait. And then this job will be finished on this side, but it'll only be, no, it won't be finished, because then we've got to paint all the metal up in anticipation of putting the mudguard in place. So we've got to paint it today as well, so it can dry overnight, hopefully, which I doubt it will do because it's very frosty at the moment. And then tomorrow we can put the sealant down, and then we can peg that bloody fiberglass in once and for all. 2 o'clock That's now. The plan. Still raining. Not a lot I can do. I think we're going to have to call the video, but before I do that, I am going to make up that bottom plate for here. See what time I get on my hands to do the other one. I've still got to weld in 2 pieces of angle. This weather this week has been terrible. Not a lot I can do about it though. The weather is what it is. If I was in the workshop, it'd be a different matter. So I've pre-measured and marked, cut. I put an angle in here, but I do honestly think I'll be altering this because I've got a piece of angle to fit this side, and I know it's going to overhang. So I've only gone as far as there with the black lines, and I'm going to run that through the bead roller for you. And I think I'll just speed it up as I go along, if I can find somewhere to place the ready camera. which won't be easy. Where are we? Oh, that's the back. There we go, we'll do that. Okay, I've got a single bead roller tool in here. And that's what I'll be running with. And I'm doing that upside down, I suddenly realised. Bugger. Really wanted these on the other end. Whew. There you go. Yeah, it has warped it a bit, but it doesn't matter. So we've got what people are known, you know, what you can see as regular ribs that you see in the back of a car, except they're small. I could have done them bigger. I do have another tool that I could have put in there, where I could have actually had those ribs that width all the way down, but there just isn't enough room, because I want to leave a good gap each side, especially down here and here, because I've got to trim them up because of the angle. So yeah, that's probably the best that one's going to get. And to straighten that, well, we'll just chuck it on the floor and stand on the damn thing, won't we? And then we'll start welding it in. It's as simple as that. It isn't difficult. So, or we can start welding it in, get to the middle, and put a jack underneath and just pull it up. But to be honest with you, watch this. There you go. One floor plan. One floor plan. I meant to say. Okay, so we've got another one to do, but I don't think I can do that at the moment because I really do need that angle in, and I've got another one of these to cut that needs welding in. So unfortunately, due to the ridiculous weather and the fact that my gas is nearly depleted, I mean, if you can see, look, turn that sucker on. That's my gas. I think we can all agree that's empty, because it's normally up here at 8 as a rule, just past it. So I need to get that off now, get that down to the shop, and go from there. So I think this video is over. There ain't nothing I can do about it. The weather is just too tragic at the moment. There's no way I want my welder out in this. What's got to be done next is a little tricky. So there you go, we are cooked on the weather. We'll see what Monday brings. I mean, if it carries on raining right the way through to the weekend, we might get some good weather. We might, but I don't actually know about that. So look, again, thank you very much for your likes and your shares and your comments. I appreciate them. So yeah, thank you very much for your time, guys, and we'll see you on Monday. Thanks for your comments as well. Click the like button. I'd be very grateful. Thank you. Bye.